Okay, live small. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay.
Let's do a quick round of introductions.
And we are in dark.
Yes.
Complete dark. Okay.
Anyway, the light's gonna switch as we go because we're on natural light and it sucks. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so Christina, do you want to start? Tell us something about you.
Well, I don't know. I'm Christina. I'm a translator, and I really like books. And I don't know. That's the basics about me.
Okay.
And dancing. And dancing.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
What's the thingy in parentheses that you have by your name?
Oh, right. Thank you. I am one part of the channel Bookworm Dreams. That is like a channel where we read fantasy and sci-fi mostly, and some fantasy romance, which is kind of Maya's on that side. Maya's expertise.
Yeah.
So Maya.
Hi, I'm Maya. I'm the second part of the Bookworm Dreams channel. But I like books also. And this would be our first live, I believe, Christina. We didn't do anything like this ever. We watched a lot of them, so hopefully we will be able to mimic normal behavior.
Yes, sure.
I mean, it's always awkward, you know.
Yeah.
We did a lot of lives.
It gets easier.
But it's always the first few minutes, like the awkward moments when you just want to. Oh my God, I want to die.
Tell us something about how you're feeling.
Hi, I'm Antonija. I'm 1/3 of editorial team at Morina kutija. And as everyone here, I believe, also like to read and write and talk about the books that I read. And I love T Kingfisher, which I believe is the topical. And
my name is Vesna. I'm 1/3 of the Morina kutija editorial team. I'm a writer and I'm a librarian. I work with fiction, and I can't stand literary fiction and mainstream. So I think I came to the right place. Yeah.
We started with hating, huh? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Of course.
Also, shout out to Igor, the third part.
The third.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wasn't invited. Okay.
Right? He was like, "We are having a live of a book I didn't even read."
No.
Some other time.
Actually, Igor and Antonia are gearing to buddy read Camp Damascus, I think.
Yes. Oh,
when
Jack
he gets
Tingle.
his pre-order copy, which hasn't been shipped yet.
And I read like audiobooks, so mine is already ready on script. So Igor, chop. Where is that book?
Okay, anyway. So Bookworm Dreams and Morina kutija first collab. And it was your idea, actually, to have this buddy read of T Kingfisher. I mean, of any book. How did you come to the idea?
Maya is the originator of everything here.
It probably was my idea. I thought it would be fun. We have sort of similar tastes. We can find. I thought we would be able to find a book that all four of us could enjoy, with various like fantasy / horror elements. And so when I gave you the idea, we just sort of put forth some books and we just got together on T Kingfisher because I read it before. Christina read it before, right? Yeah. And I know Antonija read some.
Read her before too, yeah. I was the only newbie.
Yeah. So I guess that was the idea behind this collab, just to have something fun to read and talk about.
Yeah.
And thanks for the call. It was really fun.
Thanks for the invite.
Okay, so where do we start with this? Vesna, you're the first. You're the only one who hadn't read any T Kingfisher up until now.
Yes.
So what do you say as someone who just now read something from her?
Well, I guess I subliminally knew that she was not the author for me. I'm still willing to try some other of her works, but I'm not really sure we're gonna mesh. I'm just not that morbid and dark, I guess. I don't know. I like different stuff. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, you thought it was morbid and dark?
No, this was morbid and goofy.
Well, yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Can someone say what the book is about? So for people who haven't read it, so they
Yeah,
know.
just few sentences. Christina, do you want to?
So, okay, I'll show you the book.
Book.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we read. Oh wait, this is like okay here.
Yes.
So, A House with Good Bones. So this is the story of Samantha, who comes back to her childhood home because she is on some kind of, let's say, sabbatical from her work. And she finds her mom acting really mysteriously, and very strange things start happening in her house. And we just kind of go off from there. And the mystery is what is happening with her mom and the house. So that's roughly what the story is about.
And
So,
it's really short, actually. Really short.
yeah,
novel.
yeah, it's like the hardback has 300 pages, so it's really, and it's like big like letters, like a lot of actually empty pages between the chapters. So like it's a really quick read, really quick read, really.
Yeah.
Except
Okay.
when you're traveling, like then it's not.
Really?
Yeah, no. We spread it out for over a week.
Almost, yeah.
But
But it's
you had other interesting things to do.
Yes,
besides the
that
book.
is
Yeah.
yeah, that was the problem for the book, not for us. But yeah, it's the writing style is very easy to read. So it's short and it's easy. So you can really do it in like a 1 day or two, maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but and on the plot side, I would say that it's also light. Like I don't know if that's yours opinion too. I felt like she didn't really have a lot of plot for this sort of I don't know haunted house. I guess it was the idea. But we mostly were in the character's head and her interests and her worry about her mother.
Yeah.
Yes.
But,
Yeah, that is true.
Until the last
I-
day, nothing actually happened. She just did a lot of
Yeah.
research either at home or in a coffee shop. So that was basically the plot. Where are all the bugs? Let's go research.
Let's work on the project. Let's download photos.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's
Yeah.
watch British crime shows and let's drink lots of boxed wine or whatnot. That was
Does any of you actually know if the crime show is real or if
I
she
didn't go
invented
Google it.
No, me
That's
neither.
the one thing I didn't check.
Actually,
I checked all of the roses, but I didn't check the crime show.
me neither. Because my parents are really big on the British crime shows, the sort that she watches in the book, and we watched a lot when I was growing up and later.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I never checked. I assumed that it was real.
I assumed that it was fictional.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
me too.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I mean,
Because
it makes
because
sense.
I don't remember it. I think I would have known.
I mean, did you read the acknowledgements?
Yes.
I mean, T Kingfisher said that some of the things that she wrote were like from true stories, in the sense like the whole religion thing. If you remember that part about the Parsons religion and how the grandfather is connected to that religion, that part was true. So maybe it could be
Yeah.
that the show exists. We just didn't check.
No, or it's just the archetypal idea of a
Yeah.
British crime show. Yeah, like we all know the type.
So did any of you think the book was scary?
No.
No, but some parts were unsettling to me. But I'm not a horror reader.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? I think the underground thing at the end, I did not like that. And
Same.
that was it. Not necessarily. I
yeah.
don't remember. I told you, but I don't remember now.
The whole dinner scene with grandma that happens by the end of the book, I find that part was for me a bit disturbing, and the ending when the showdown starts. But otherwise, it's not really scary, not for me. And I read a lot of horror books, and not the scariest from her. I remember reading The Twisted Ones. That one had a scene that, like, I think, I think it managed to pull out the real fear that I have. So when that and when it happened and the way it was described, I really felt unsettled and a bit scared. And that book still stays in my mind as a very unsettling one.
Mhm.
So this one didn't. It's just not that type, and I have a feeling that she didn't even want to go that dark and scary. More in the I will use cozy because that's currently very popular words to use. This is the one book that I felt that I could agree with people. That's a bit of a like cozy horror. Like, yeah, it has some horror elements, but it's mostly funny and very chill. Like, I wasn't very worried for the characters. I always expected them to come out fine. Yeah.
How about you, Maya?
Yeah.
Well, my biggest problem were the bugs because I don't do bugs. Even though there was that moment, like when she put her foot down and there was a crunch, I literally threw my e-reader away because I was like, bugs. I don't do bugs. Bugs are scary.
She really doesn't do bugs.
I was sorry for the bugs.
Even though they were ladybugs, not an actually scary bug, but when you put your foot down and it crunches, it's like the biggest fear. And it was awful. It was like, and there was that one moment when she was lying down and when she was experiencing sleep paralysis, whatever she logically explained away. And like something was touching her face and whatnot. I was like, oh my God, it's another bug. Well, turns out it's grandma and whatnot. But I was like, that is just so, I don't do bugs. So that was like my biggest scary thing about this book. I mean, it was cozy and whatnot, but when the bugs came, I was like, okay, nope.
I actually remember, did the underground things have the row of teeth and on their, like the parasite thingies?
No.
Which feed or... No,
I think they just look like
it's an issue I have anyway.
Creepy kids. Oh, I forgot to mute my Discord. I'm going to do that, and you keep talking. I will just say this: that a fun fact. When I was at college, at my home, we live in a sort of a woodsy area. I had a problem with ladybug swarms.
It wasn't ladybugs. It was the other thing.
I was like, oh, that's not
the other thing.
No, it's I call him. It looks like a ladybug,
but it's not a ladybug.
Anyway,
it's the elongated ones.
No.
Yeah, I know.
Actual ladybugs.
Ah, sorry.
And it's really annoying. And the worst part is the smell. It's horrible. So I didn't find that scene necessarily scary, but I did. The moment when she said that she heard crunch, I was like, oh my gosh, it's some kind of bugs, aren't they? But when it shows us this, it's the ladybugs, I was like, kill them. destroy the little fuckers. They're so hard to get rid of. But yeah, she's too good. She's as an etymologist.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
So what did you think of the main character? So did you like her or not?
She was okay, but I really hated her skepticism because I think I said it in our reading vlog. At one point, you can't do it anymore. I mean, you can't explain everything, and I mean, right today and yesterday, the big news is that there's a guy in the court at court in the US who's claiming that the US hushed some UFO things. I mean, if even that can get in court, you can't keep like 80% of the book saying it's not happening for this reason, for that reason, and for that reason. It was annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was also
We
my
also
problem.
said that.
Yeah.
We also said that she was just so overly logical and like almost clinical in everything she saw. Like it was like, oh no, this is dementia. This is like I don't know, this
Paralysis,
or
not-
that. Everything had an explanation, and just it was just too much. Especially when she goes to talk to Gail later, and like things crop up that suggest that it's gonna be something witchy, supernatural, or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's like still so in her scientist's mind. Like I can understand it to a degree because she's a scientist, but at the same time, come on, how much?
The parts I can understand is that I'm a skeptic. I never believe in anything supernatural, any version of it at all. But in a book for a character who's a character in a book, it doesn't work for me. It gets boring. It gets repetitive.
And we get stuck in a plot because she's so stubborn about what is happening, and we're just going in a circle.
Yeah, she just nopes out of everything.
Yeah. And when she finds some interesting information, you have a feeling that she just like discards it. Like, oh, I found this interesting stuff about this creepy grandfather figure. Like, but let's not do anything with it. Let's go watch the show and drink wine.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked her. Like, I liked her in the end with her communicating with her grandma and sort of showing the difference between the grandma's generation and the new generation. And I liked how she was comfortable in her own body and whatnot. But the whole, it's nothing supernatural. It's all sciencey. It got old really quickly.
Yeah.
And I just kept wondering why she didn't insist. Why did she actually have a conversation with her mother about, okay, let's sit down and talk about what's with the notes. Why are you writing everything's real? And I was so annoyed with Gail as well, because both the mother and Gail knew what was happening and nobody wanted to tell her. And I was like, why? Let's just get to the scary, supernatural part or whatnot. So
I actually really liked the Gail character. Not usually my favorite type of character, but I really liked her this time in this book. Gail, the
Vulture lady.
vulture.
the witch.
Yeah.
I have a theory that she's T Kingfisher stand-in. I noticed that she, in each book, she has this sort of older lady that lives connected to the nature and sprouts some kind of wisdom or something like that. And I always felt it's like her stand-in that she, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's just my view of the T Kingfisher by following her on Twitter, and but she does like this sort of old woman characters to have in books.
Sorry about the everything.
Yeah, neighbors. I don't know.
That's fine.
I was like, we are going to ignore the noise, right?
Yeah, but both of you went like blank.
I was wondering where this is coming from, because I live behind a giant supermarket, so I get lots of garbage trucks with like paper and stuff and glasses and anything. So I get lots of noise, so I'm just used to it by now.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe they're getting rid of their corpse.
Yeah.
So what were your opinions on the explanation of the underground children, of the general, just what's happening with the house? Because I was really sort of disappointed that the answer was magic. I was like, magic? Really? That's just...
What did you think? What would you like it to have been?
When she first mentioned the grandfather, saying he's like the crazy wizard guy from somewhere, from Boone or whatnot, and it was mentioned there. I don't know if it was in the article or it was between the conversation between Mom and Sam, and it was mentioned like he got ousted from his job because he taught Darwinism in a predominantly Catholic town. And I was like, oh my God, he's a crazy scientist. So this is going to be like lightning Frankenstein kind of an explanation of how he created the underground children or whatnot, not the explanation we got. So when we got the explanation that it's like magic and whatnot, and I am a huge fan of Supernatural, the TV show, and I'm a skeptic, but I love that show, and I'm like, okay. But
It's one of my favorite shows of all time.
I was disappointed, like, really? Magic? It just seemed so kind of lame. Like,
okay.
So I was kind of
I
disappointed.
see it now. I don't know. When I was reading, it was, I don't know, I felt it was really obvious with the way she talked about the magic kids, or the grandfather's letters, which were funny to read. And I felt like, well, this is really obvious, and it did end up, there was no plot twist about it. So she played it really straightforward with the occult and magic kids and that stuff. I really feel like, I mean, she writes in the acknowledgements that the whole book came about the scene with the grandmother, the vines and the roses, the dinner scene, and she had to write to find the plot that will have that scene in it. So I feel like everything else was just like filler. including the magic plot line. I'm a bit disappointed that we didn't get to see more of it because I like the occult in books, and it were the really interesting parts of this novel for me, the letters, and when we read about the Parsons and their relationship and the all crazy wizards doing this and that. So I would personally liked if there were more of it. And so I was a bit disappointed with how the ending ended up being anticlimactic. Everything happened very fast, and they defeated the underground children very fast. There was no tensions from it. Yeah. And it was just like, yeah, that happened, and that's all. But I like your idea with the crazy scientists and anti-Darwin. That would have been cool. Yeah,
that was like my expectation when I read, like, and then when he was talking to the cult guy and he was talking about, okay, I get it, he made the children, but how did he make the children? When we found out how, I was like, really? that's I don't know, this is my first T Kingfisher that's like not romantasy in any way, so I was honestly a bit disappointed. I mean, I liked I liked parts of the main character. The book itself wasn't that scary, except the bug stuff. But, everybody's saying how T Kingfisher does great horror and stuff, and for like the first book to read, this was kind of cozy and not scary.
It was not impressive at all.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry to say that as my first T Kingfisher. I don't know. I guess people. Do you think people read her for her approach to writing, for like her voice, her style, or her themes, or whatever, or do you think it's about the plots in the other books? Because a lot of people really, really like her.
The romantasy stuff is very formulaic. Like, you have a quirky older character with my age, so mid-30s, who is going, I mean, not unexperienced in life, but a bit naive, and going outside on an adventure, and then meeting this male person who becomes the love interest, and they do go on an adventure, they do stuff, fall in love and whatnot. It's very similar, and when you get the formula, it kind of ruins the enjoyment of reading when you figure it out. Like, right now there will be a quirky side character, like there was a demon chicken in one. There was the oh my god, the What Moves the Dead, there was another person who was also quirky and whatnot. It's like, but it's easy to read, and it's fun. I like romantasy, so I'll read anything with a little bit of romance in it and fantasy, so I'm okay with that. But once you figure out the formula, it's like, okay, you have to space them out a little bit, because it becomes very, very not exciting to read. And Christina didn't like Sword Heart, I believe, right?
No. I mean, no. Like, the problem is I have the same feeling towards this book as I had with Sword Heart. It was fine, but nothing gripped me like that I would say, oh my gosh, yes, this is like my new favorite author, or I will read everything by T Kingfisher. I had that feeling with the Middle Grey one. The Middle Grade was awesome for me. Like, I loved it. Like, the Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking, some kind of baking. Anyways, like, I love that one, but the and that was basically pure fantasy, like middle grade fantasy.
Yeah.
And that, I love that. But like, these two were like, I don't know. But despite that, I still want to try at least something more of her to see if, like, I don't know, just another type of plot kind of is more my thing, because I like not like her writing. It's just very easy to go through, and it's quick, so it's just, it feels almost like, a vacation in a book for me. Like, kind of that feeling. I don't really have to think a lot about it, and sometimes I just need that type of almost palate cleanser from other, maybe more heavier books or longer books and stuff like that. So like, I feel something like that towards her books. I don't know.
I always liked her style. So what you say, it's easy to read. She's very funny. She has the type of humor that I really like, and I can always really laugh with her books, even the scarier ones. The Twisted Ones and the Whole Places, they had a lot of great comedic moments, and the main character is just really funny. The Twisted One is written like in form of epistolary, so it's like a diary that the character writes, and she always has this sort of a quips because she survived the experience, and now she can joke about it and have a lot of in jokes with one of the characters is her dog, and she always mentions, like, he got a cheeseburger from her, and like, if you're my veterinarian and reading this, please disregard, and similar stuff. Right? She really has this great voice for me that I love, which is why I take her books. And each book, though it has different characters and different plots, always have the same type of similar narrator that it really fits for me personally. I'm a bit disappointed with this book, not because, it wasn't really bad, but it should have been short. If you ask me, like a short story or maybe a novella, it just felt
probably would have worked better. Because the whole portion actually that we didn't like basically would be kind of more condensed. I think you would get the same result, because you understand, like, as we said, the wine, the shows, this and that. Like, you could do that in 2 days, not 9. So,
And if it were a novella, the ending wouldn't have been so simplistic. It felt too easy. The underground thing was too easy. It just happened, and we went further.
I'm actually quite mad because I wanted to hear, like, the backstory to the underground children, in the sense, like, not he made them by basically copulating with the earth, but like, like, where do they live? Why do they live? Like,
what's their perspective?
Go? Yeah, how do the roses and the teeth made them stay in the earth? Like, was the sacrifice of her, like, the body of her grandfather, enough to keep them at bay for like 20, 30 years? Like, I just wanted to know what's happening here. That was like kind of my
So it was both too long and too short at the same time.
It was too
Yeah.
long and too short plot-wise.
Yeah.
Details on details.
Or maybe even like the world building in this magical sense, like the magical part just wasn't explained except for the basics. So this is why the children are here, and that's it. Like very
And
short.
there's one thing that was left unexplained. I think it's never explained why the stuff started happening a year ago. Because her mother lived there for 20 years.
Yes. My theory was that grandma's effect on everything finally subsided for whatever reason, because time passed.
But grandma was okay and moving along at the house and everything. I mean, she was still quite powerful.
Yeah.
Even
that's true.
So we never really got an explanation why it just started happening a year ago and not 20 years ago. And like I was expecting,
unless the explanation is what Sam thought, that because her mom reached her grandma's age, and now in the sense like maybe if like grandma died and I don't know, like 50. And then now mom is 50, and like the kind of the caring for the children has to pass on to the next kind of
Generation. Person.
Yeah, I don't know, something like that. I don't know. She should have thought of something.
I thought that like because grandma was so racist that she got annoyed that with everything that was happening with the grandchildren, that she finally decided to act on it and like make sure that like everybody starts living the correct way or whatnot. So
the nice and normal life.
Nice and normal, yes.
Normal. I would actually agree with you. Yeah,
nice and normal.
I do think that grandma is just too of an asshole, and was just like, I can't stand this anymore. You're all too liberally for me and my southern responsibilities.
Yeah, and she was so mean in the end. Like when I mean, okay, they obviously want to get rid of her, but she's like a petulant child. She's like, I know how to solve this, but I'm not gonna tell you. I'm just gonna go and like, you know, like what? Come on.
That was
So,
very
in character.
In character for the grandma.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. I actually remember something not related to this book, but earlier when you were talking about other books by T Kingfisher, I actually thought I was going to read one of the Paladin books before I saw your review, Maya. I think that was the reason I said like, nope, this is way too nope for me. I thought it was different. I thought it was going to be like special or something. I don't know.
Well, the Paladins are like extra romancy.
I read
anything else that's in that world. So if you don't like romance, then
I love romance, but I have a very small quota for like simple romance. I mean, like the cis cat vanilla romance.
Yeah.
80% everything else and 20% that part. So maybe someday. I don't know. Not necessarily after this book, though. Yeah.
So I think whenever if we're going to ever read T Kingfisher again, it's going to be like with caution and like low expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I mean, I remember when Antonia first read the whole place, or the twist was. She was
my new favorite author.
Yeah.
It's my favorite book from her. I actually started reading her with short stories. Tomato Thief is still one of the funniest and unique short stories that I've read for my book club. Yeah, I really love that one. And I think it's called Sun, Moon, and Talia. I'm not sure. Also very interesting way to like about a boy who was supposed to become like a hero. He got this hero sword in inheritance, and everyone expected from him to go to the world and do the adventures, but he only wanted to be at home and take care of his garden. And like the sword had magical mentors, like I think 3, Sun, Moon, and I'm not sure what the third was. And so it was really like melancholic, a bit sad story with a happy and hopeful ending. And it also stayed in really, really good memory for me. So I actually liked her writing before. And then the Twisted One happens, and it's really still stayed with me as my favorite T Kingfisher. But I did say to Igor, the third one, that I'm going to really be careful now with picking out her next books, because before this one I read Nettle and Bone, and it was also like, it was good, and it had a lot of funny moments, but also felt a bit too dragging in the middle. And I liked the side characters more than the main ones, and it just, I don't know. And then this one came after it, and I again had the feeling of being too long and stretched out. And I guess I'm going to really be careful about what to choose next. And I think I'm going to skip out on her fantasy work, because I noticed that I simply don't like the long form fantasy by her the way I like the more darker and horror stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, I had the same feeling when I read Sword Heart. I was like, this is the best shit ever.
Yeah.
Let's read.
I think you even said it was the best book of the year for you, or something like that. You really loved it.
And then I binged read everything in that world, and then I like figured out the formula, and I was like, oh no. Yeah. So I think in the future I will read her fantasy stuff, because she does, the books are fun. I mean, they're nothing like spectacular, but they're fun. So they can be like good palate cleansers between all the giant epic fantasy series that I'm supposed to be reading, but I'm not. But so.
But you're taking them on your vacation.
On vacation, yes.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be finishing series. I'm starting 3 new ones. That's current. Oh my god, I don't even know.
There's one thing that we didn't comment on, even though you mentioned her romance multiple
I have a question
times.
About the romance thing.
Yeah, the romance part.
As a newbie to T Kingfisher, was I mistaken to expect more of a romance plot line with the romantic interest character in this book?
Well, I don't know how she does it in other like horror stuff. So I guess Antonia can comment if there is lots of romance in her.
No, horror doesn't really have the romance part. This was the first one that had, I think, the romance subplot. Yeah,
but nothing happened.
Yeah, nothing
happened. I don't remember anything happening. Like
nothing happened.
No, he didn't.
And he was,
they exchanged numbers.
Happened.
They exchanged numbers.
Why did I,
at the end, like the last page?
Why did I waste so much time reading about the dude if nothing happened?
And
I guess they needed like a male guy to be able to escape from the hole. Like when the house fell into the sinkhole, they need someone strong or whatnot to. But that was like his only stuff. He was the handyman, and he fixed stuff around the house. And then he basically, I remember just him helping Sam out of a window while they were climbing the roof or whatnot, and basically protecting Mom and Gail while Sam was using her inner magic to.
I think
save
he
them
was
from the children.
one of the first ones to react normally to her things, to her the stuff she was saying,
Yes.
and I was very pleasantly surprised. As a romance reader, I was like, like,
yeah, I remember that. It was like usually when she mentions bugs, people like freak out and stop talking about that, and he's like a master gardener or whatever.
That's nice.
And he was like, bugs, tell me more. I also know about bugs.
I know about bugs. Sorry, Maya.
No.
It's the B
No, I
word.
usually when I read books, I have to check myself because I read a lot of fantasy. So like everything but contemporary. So whenever I read about a male or female character or whatever, two types of characters, I'm like, okay, that doesn't mean that they're gonna end up together. It's not, it doesn't mean that there's something romantic happening between them. So like I have to always check myself so I don't like assume and then get disappointed because like I guess my ship in the book didn't happen. So
I ship everything.
I know.
I'm unapologetic about it.
I think he's here mostly for the jokes because like Mother's Candyman. It sounds like the beginning of the porn. And everything that happens with him, it's always like she does something well, unhinged, really.
Yeah.
Like, and the poor guy needs
Doesn't
to
she like threaten
react
him
to it.
the first time they have like a meet cute?
Yes. Cute, yes.
That's
I
what
mean-
that's called technically in a typical romance book. So yeah. Well, I think we said everything that we could say about this book.
Oh, we
It's too
didn't say
long
the
and too
most
short. It's too slow.
the most
Yeah.
important thing.
What?
The vultures.
Ah, the
Oh yeah.
All right. Oh my god, the vultures.
All the Pardon, is this the current version? All of the hearts.
I don't know. Like their only role in this book was just to be like a danger house. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
And they did nothing. I mean, did it help at the end?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
the one
Hermes-
without the feather, Gail's
Hermes did the
companion or something.
Yeah.
He showed them a way to like the
Yeah.
outside.
And I can't remember the name Hermes from mythology. What was
He's a messenger.
He's a
He's a
messenger.
messenger of gods. He has wings on his feet, so he's very quick.
Yeah. Okay, so
Yes, we know because we had to suffer through Mythos by Stephen. What's his name? Stephen Fry. Yes, I had to suffer. I don't know if Christina suffered, maybe I suffered. So
I didn't
Yeah,
suffer, but I actually know Hermes because he is kind of connected to my star sign. So I kind of
okay.
I had like a high school moment where I was very into astrology, so I kind of
Is
knew
it-
about.
Is he Mercury? In
Yeah.
the Roman version,
Yeah,
so
and it's the
Roman version.
kind of main planet for Gemini, which I am.
Okay.
So
Oh, good. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
he
I love
wasn't-
vultures. I love
well,
Hermes.
he wasn't in Xena or Hercules, so I.
Underrated god.
Yeah.
But the animal companion also very common for a T
Mhm.
Kingfisher book.
Yes, and in the romantasy stuff also.
Hmm.
Yeah. We did say everything, I think. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it was funny it was funny for me, and as always, I learned some interesting new trivia because
Yeah,
T
that's true.
Kingfisher does. She finds an interest and then manages to get the most fun information about it and just to give it into book. It's always interesting to read. I don't know, for me at least. So, but I am, like I mentioned, disappointed about the whole plot stuff. So I do hope that. I mean, I know that we were going to get the sequel for What Moves the Dead. And now I know that What Moves the Dead was the retelling of the fall of the House of Usher. I'm not sure about the sequel, but I do hope it will be, I don't know.
Worth a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hope that she will get back to long form horror again. Real long form, because this didn't feel like
No, it
real.
Maybe we should try to read one of. Oh my God, what's her name? So T Kingfisher's real name is Ursula Vernon, I
Ursula
think.
Vernon.
So maybe we should try to like read one of her horrors so we can like
Does-
compare.
Does she
like,
really
write horrors?
yeah, Ursula Vernon like writes horror, I think.
No,
I think she
Ursula
does.
Vernon is the name she, I think, uses for her children, I think.
Children's
So-
for her children's. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Let me
I
check
think
Maya.
She started out as a children's author. And then she created the T Kingfisher for her self-help romance stuff. And when her children's literature started to have a downfall, the T Kingfisher pseudonym was ready for her to pitch for the publishers because they became very interested in her more quirky and dark stuff.
I think it was also related to the pandemic.
Yeah, it was related. She had a really interesting Twitter thread about it because she said that when she started her self-pubbing with T Kingfisher, it felt like a really stupid idea because she had a lot of money as a children's author because the children's literature that she wrote was really paying off well. And she was getting really good money out of it. But then when the pandemic hit, the children's literature was also hit. And practically, she ended up with nothing from that side. And now it's the T Kingfisher that is getting her the money.
Ursula Vernon wrote a series called The Hamster Princess. So I guess that's I know, but someone mentioned on BookTube that Ursula also writes horror. So I was like, okay. So I guess
they probably
misremembered.
Yeah.
They're probably talking about the T Kingfisher. Yeah, I mean, like she writes the horror and yeah. She also has graphic novels because she's also an illustrator. Yeah, so she has a lot of work. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so
awkward silence.
I guess the question for people who will watch this or are watching this now, if you read some of the T Kingfisher's books, and how would you rate her books? Like, what's the favorite or least favorite? Yeah, yes. I think we'll have this no, all four of us see that we have the similar opinion about this one.
Yeah.
But if you read A House with Good Bones, leave us a comment with your opinion. Do you agree with us, or did you find it better than with it?
Did you ship it?
Yeah.
I totally shipped Phil and Sam. I totally agree with you.
I can't remember his name.
Come on. Phil.
Yeah, Candyman.
He was a good guy. He was
Candyman.
A good guy as a romantic interest is
rare.
Yeah.
I mean, their banter was fun to read, I guess.
Yeah.
But nothing happened. That's the
Okay.
Okay, so that's that.
What's the status of your video?
You will have the reading vlog.
It's going up on Saturday. I just need to edit like the last technical difficulties one portion.
Sure.
So I'm probably going to do it tomorrow or the next day, but Saturday is when it comes up. So
and now we can watch your video because we were like, we started. I was like, this could be spoilery. Maybe we shouldn't.
I actually started. No, I started yesterday, and I managed to get to like a half point, and I was like, I'm so tired. Like not because it was boring, but I was yesterday. I was tired. I literally went to sleep at like 9:30. It was like crazy. Yeah, so I was like, okay, I'll just leave it for next day.
No, I clicked on it the moment it came out, and then I was like, oh, this could be spoiler. At that point, I haven't read the book yet, so I was like, okay, let's leave it until I read the book.
Okay. You will not be surprised in the least.
Yeah, it's not very spoilery because we didn't really get to say much about book. The majority of the video is actually our video clips from Portugal.
Okay,
that's where I'm at the half point, like just the clips from Porto and everything, and they look so nice. By the way, it looks awesome.
Yeah, it's very nice. Yeah.
So we are really looking forward to seeing yours.
Yeah,
too.
We want to hear. we will link the videos here in the description and add your video to ours reading vlog also when it gets out. So at Saturday, Bookworm Dreams video vlog.
Yep.
With
I will tag you everywhere.
yeah.
So you'll know.
And we hope that you will have a nice the rest of the summer and vacations and nice books to read. For vacation.
Oh, yes.
Thank you. You too. You know.
And hopefully we will have another call up with I don't know, should I hope better book or worse book so that we can rant? Because this was like
rants are always fun.
Yeah.
For me, at least. Like, I hate that somebody didn't like the book, but at the same time, the emotions are so there that just grips you. Like,
Yeah.
so who knows?
Yeah. Okay, that's that.
See you soon.
See you
Okay.
soon and
Yep.
have fun, all of you.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye.